What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Seeking Sister Wife, Season 4, Episode 9, The Jones Family. So, Sidian is in the Philippines still, and he's still trying to woo Arielle to convince her to come to the United States and be his second wife. Now, Arielle and Sidian are having a very romantic time on the beach. They have a fire pit going. The sun is setting, so it's very romantic. And Arielle tells us that, she is willing to be intimate again with Sidian. So Arielle is like, pretty smitten with Sidian. And to be honest, the more I see Sidian and Arielle together, the more I'm beginning to think that this is very sort of like one-sided as far as like the chemistry and the feelings that are developing. I think that Arielle is definitely into Sidian, and I think that Sidian, although he might think that she's a very pretty girl, that he might think that she's very attractive, and he doesn't mind being physical with her, I just don't see the chemistry on Sidian's part. I think Sidian is... He seems very stiff around her, and I don't know if he's just stiff in general, but he seems very stiff around her, and he seems like he's just trying to play the part of an interested boyfriend, or play the part of a man trying to court a woman or woo a woman. I don't think that his heart or his feelings are really into Arielle. I just don't feel like it is at all, period. So while they're having this romantic time on the beach, Tasha calls and she expresses how lonely she is. And she's so lonely. I'm so lonely, blah, blah, blah. I'm so lonely. And Sidian talks about how this should be expected, and that moving forward, he's going to have to learn how to, divide his time equally. So then, after expressing how lonely she is, Tasha begins to ask if Sidian and Arielle have been intimate. And I was kind of like, I don't know about that. I kind of felt like it really wasn't her business. I think that if they had wanted to tell her, of course, by all means, they have the right to tell her. But for her to inquire on that, I kind of felt like it just seemed awkward to me. It just seemed really awkward. And like, why is she worried about that? Wasn't that part of the plan? Wasn't that going to be one of the tools he was going to use to convince Arielle to come to the United States and to be with them? Doesn't he have to do that? I mean, I don't understand why she had to ask that. I wouldn't have asked. There's no way in hell you could have gotten me to ask that if I was in that type of a situation. Because I'm not going to let anybody think that that's what's on my mind. What y'all are doing in y'all's private time. That's y'all's business. Y'all handle that. Y'all do whatever. So I was sort of like surprised that she asked that, but they tell her yes, and Arielle was extremely apologetic about it. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. The next time moving forward, we're going to ask for your consent. And then Tasha was like, yeah, and I'll do the same for y'all too. What? Y'all gonna ask each other for consent to sleep with your husband? That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, y'all just do. I understand that at some moments, Sidian is probably going to have to like make sure that he's spending equal time with both women, but I thought that somehow it can still come naturally, even though it's a plural relationship, that when it comes to stuff like that these things can still kind of happen naturally. And I don't want to get into much details about, the going-ons about what people do in this type of situation when it comes to intimacy. But I'm just kind of like, why do we have to have, so the rules have to be very rigid like that? It has to be like, hey, I'm going to ask for permission if I can be with him, and then you'll ask for permission. Like, I don't understand that at all. That, to me, that was weird. I thought y'all just kind of act spontaneously, as spontaneous as you possibly can in a situation like this. So Arielle, it goes without saying, was very grateful that, no, I'm sorry, not Arielle. Tasha was very grateful that Arielle had presented this to her. Like, yes, I'm going to ask you for permission next time because I want you to be very comfortable with everything that we're doing, with everything that's going on. And of course, Tasha just loved that. And so Sidian said that he wanted to console Tasha, and he wanted to know that Tasha was definitely on his mind. So, he's beginning to understand what it's all about now. to be a man with many wives, how you have to like constantly, keep all the burners going at the same time and make sure that all of your wives are happy with you. So later on, Tasha meets with her mom, and she tells her mom that Sidian is in the Philippines, looking for a second wife for them. So the mother, she's like, oh, okay, so she's looking for another person to add to your cult. The mother sees this as a cult. And Tasha is like, this is not a cult. How can it be a cult when it's only just two of us? And the mom says, well, it's going to be the three of you, so it's definitely a cult. Now, I don't know what the technical definition of a cult is, but I think as long as you have one leader and one follower, you can have a cult. I don't necessarily think that you have to have a certain number of people. I didn't look up the Webster Dictionary definition of a cult and how many people is required to make said cult, but I don't think you need that many people. I think if you have a leader and a follower, you can have a cult. So that's how the mother sees it. So Tasha tries to convince her otherwise. It's not like that. So the mother, her biggest concern, because Tasha tells her mother that if this goes as planned, then Arielle and Sidian are going to get married, and that will be his legal wife. And so the mother was like, okay, so he's going to marry her legally and you're just going to be pushed to the back burner. And Tasha tries to convince her mom, no, it's not like that, we're all pretty equal in this. And then she says something a little bit immature. She said something like, well, she gets to have him for a few months or something, but I get to have him every single day. Yeah, for now. But then if everything goes according to plan, Arielle is going to be moving in with the two of you, and Arielle will also have him every day. So what then? I don't understand what you mean by that. And then he will, not only will she have him every day like you, but she will be the legal wife. So what are you going to do about that? Not only that, but if anything should happen, she's going to be first in line for any type of benefits or any type of, legal decisions, any type of say-so and anything major. So what are you talking about, Tasha? Why can't Tasha be the legal wife? And then, Arielle and everybody else after that just kind of join in. I don't understand why Tasha, because I thought that Tasha and Sidian had the deepest connection because they've really been through it all. They were together with Sidian and Sidian's first wife. They were all together. Then the first wife left, and then it was just Tasha and Sidian, and Tasha was, helping him raise his children, the two older children, because the youngest one is still with his ex-wife. So, like, why wouldn't Tasha, the one who's putting in the most energy, who's given up most of her life to this, who's given the most dedication, the most love, why can't she be the legal wife so that if anything should happen out of anybody, she would know what to do? She would know how to maneuver this. Like if he was incapacitated in a hospital or something like that, if she has to make legal decisions, if anything happens to Sidian, wouldn't she be entitled to be the first one who's entitled to the benefits because she's like the one who's really been there the longest and who's had the deepest connection with him? I'm not understanding. So this all makes me think, and someone had said this in my comment, and then there's also rumors floating around that these people are up to no good. Tasha and Sidian are like, they're involved in something. Something is going on with Tasha and Sidian. I think Tasha even has a criminal record. I think that they're just trying to set Arielle up for something. I don't know if it's identity theft or what's going on, but there is something brewing with the Jones clan, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. And that's why I feel like there's no deep connection between Sidian and Arielle, because I think Sidian just sees Arielle as a cog in their machine of fraud and connery and whatever else they're doing over there. I think he's just trying to hurry up, convince this girl to let's go back to the United States so that he can start, I don't know, what, using her for something. I'm not sure exactly what. Either they want to use her for her ability maybe to work and earn a living, and they want to like, I don't know, or if they want to steal her identity, or if they want her to conspire with them to be involved in something else, and maybe because I don't know. There's something going on with Sidian and Tasha. So back to the mom and Tasha. So the mom, she's not feeling this at all. She's calling this a cult. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all. She's not happy about the fact that Sidian will be legally married to somebody else and not Tasha. And, Tasha, she's not feeling this at all the mother still believes that, she says this, the reason why she thinks this is a cult is because she says you have one man who is controlling all these women, controlling all these other people. And I don't think Tasha's mom really knows like the real deal Holyfield about her own daughter, because there's something going on with Tasha. It's like, okay, so so Tasha went to the Philippines for work and she meets this girl named Arielle 5 or so years prior. Then when she comes back to the United States, you know, whatever, 5 years later, all of a sudden she remembers, oh yeah, I met this Filipino girl and I'm thinking that she'd be great. You know, I guess they had been keeping in touch. If they had been keeping in touch this whole entire time, because I don't think Tasha and Sidian went to go look for her. I think Tasha and Arielle were already in communication. Then why wouldn't they have chosen her to begin with? Or why wasn't she chosen a little bit earlier on, before they had all the failures that they had? And speaking of Tasha and Sidian's failures, you know, the women that they've courted or dated who decided that this was not for them, I'm beginning to wonder if the reason why those women jumped off the Sidian train was because they sensed something. They sensed that, oh my God, you know, my identity is about to be like snatched from me. If they sensed something about them, and that's why they were like, no, we can't go through with this. No, this doesn't sound right at all. And poor Arielle, because she's all the way in the Philippines, doesn't really know how they get down. And I just don't know. But, the mom is worried about Tasha being taken advantage of. I'm worried about Arielle being taken advantage of. This is all a hot mess. And Tasha and Sidian have said to us that this is not this polygamous lifestyle or polyamorous lifestyle. It's got nothing to do with religion. It is not based in religion at all. Some of the people that they courted before were into polygamy for religious reasons, and they had to give them the boot. It's like, this has got nothing to do with religion. I'm pretty sure yeah, it doesn't, because I think y'all are con artists, to tell you the truth. I think this whole polyamorous thing is based in con artistry or something, because this Sidian and Arielle, I'm not, because the way you see the other men this season and how they are with their potential is completely different. Like, you can see that Marcus was really interested and attracted to Janae. You can see that Garrick, oh my God, poor Garrick. Oh, Garrick is like head over heels in love, into, deeply devoted to Roberta. And you can see, I think his name is Steve, and I always forget his wife's name. You can see that Steve is really into April, you know, his young little thing, his young little hot thing, April. He's really into her. You can just see and tell. And of course, you know, we can't forget about our boy Nick. You know, Nick, the more the merrier to him. Anybody that comes along, he's happy. So he's very happy with Danielle. So Sidian and Arielle, I'm just not feeling it. I'm not seeing the sparks at all. It seems forced. It seems awkward. It seems they're not gelling. It's not flowing to me. Maybe that's just how Sidian is. Then again, maybe that he's just that way. Maybe he's just a really awkward guy. I have no idea. But Arielle, please keep your eyes wide, your eyes and your ears wide open. Once you get your social security number, girl, make sure that you keep that hidden. Don't let them know what that number is. Don't show it to them. Don't leave your wallet laying around. If you get you a credit card under your name, girl, please, like, go to bed with it. Keep it under your pillow or something. Because Sidian and Tasha, I just don't know. Whatever. I have no idea. Thank you so much for joining me in this review. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please subscribe. And I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.